30th location. Jeff, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me today, Ken.
Man, honored that you're here, taking some time away. I know, like I said, you guys just opened up your 30th location. 31st location, dominating the West Coast over there. Tell everybody a little bit about Everbowl, about you, kind of the catalyst of that whole vision, and kind of how everything's been going.
Sure. Everbowl is Everbowl Craft Superfood. We specialize in acai and other superfood bases that we source all around the world, focusing on delivering quality nutrition that's affordable, filling, delicious, and accessible. We kind of blended if you think of what Chipotle has done to the Mexican food space, or a pickup or a Panda Express has done to the Chinese market, or Jersey Mike's did to the sandwich space, we did to the superfood. So you go through a line, you get to custom and create your own bowl. And we pride ourselves with unlimited toppings of your choice for no additional cost. And it's all about providing health and wellness and promoting an unevolved lifestyle, which you can see on my shirt and on my hat. And that's our why. And it means to move and eat the way you were meant to live actively and eat stuff that's been around forever. And Everbowl's tagline is made from stuff that's been around forever. So it's the eating side of the unevolved lifestyle. And it's really just about moving your body, eating real food. And the why I started Everbowl is, I'm a serial entrepreneur, failed a handful of companies over the last 15 years. And in 2016, I had sold a digital marketing agency and was driving my wife and kids crazy. And my wife said, go do something you're truly passionate about. So outside of my family and outside of startups, health and wellness is my biggest passion. And I saw a need in the marketplace that we're killing ourselves with our diet and our lack of movement. And so I chose to tackle the food side first, which is what we eat. And I wanted to answer the bell as to providing a solution for everybody to make eating healthy, affordable, filling, delicious, and accessible.
Yeah. So talk to me about, so the vision, obviously you're passionate about it, and you can tell you're passionate about it because it comes out in your voice. And my boy, Josh York, said to tell you hello, by the way. I think we lost you again, Jeff.
Did I lose you, Ken?
Yeah, you did. Can you hear me now?
Okay. I hear you great now.
Yeah, I was going to tell you, my boy Josh York said to tell you hello, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Josh is a great guy.
Yeah, yes, he is. Coast. Yes, he is, my friend. Hey, so talk to me about, so obviously the passion, you're passionate about the food space, passionate about whole nutrition. I love eating things that have been around forever. Like, talk to me about kind of the catalyst in hey, this is what I want to do. We talk a lot about on a Growth Stack Drive about mindset, strategy, and leadership development. Where did that dream and that idea come from you to be able to do what you're doing right now at Everbowl? You're muted, Jeff.
How about now?
You're good, baby.
Okay. I don't know what happened. Just that on its own. In 2007, I graduated law school with a plan to be a sports agent, and had a job lined up, and that was the path I was going to take. And ultimately I had a daughter my third year of law school. And so I decided I didn't want to travel the world representing my clients. I really wanted to be home and be a presence in my daughter's life and be focused on my family. So I graduated without a plan, and I got a job in sales selling payroll services at ADP, the payroll company, and found out really quickly I was successful at it. And truthfully, I got into a dispute with my manager. Did I lose you, Ken? Because you froze.
No,
Can you hear me?
Got you. I'm good. I got you. Yes, sir.
I got into a dispute with my manager over a $17,000 bonus I had achieved, which was an annual bonus. So I went to my boss in January and I said, listen, I earned my bonus. When do I get the check? And they said at the end of the fiscal year, which wasn't until June, and I'd get the check in July. And I was 24 and had a big ego and needed the money because I had just bought a house and had 6 figures in law school debt and a daughter and a fiance and a wedding planned and all the things that happen when you're at that stage in life. And I realized then that I wasn't prepared to wait 6 months for my check that I had already earned. And so I threatened to quit in the heat of the moment, thinking they wouldn't let me walk out that door. And I was mistaken. Even though I was the number 1 sales rep in the country, they said, look, this is a big company and you kind of have to, we don't change for you, you change for us mentality. And I felt like a prisoner. And so I went home that night, spoke to my fiance and said, I'd like to quit my job and move you and our daughter into my parents' house and start my own payroll company out of my mom's kitchen, not knowing anything about business ownership, because back then we weren't called entrepreneurs, we were called business owners.
Yes.
And that was and she agreed, and so I did, and that was my first foray into business ownership, entrepreneurship, starting my own company. And then from there, I just realized this is what I was meant to do. I mean, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I love solving problems. I love starting companies. I don't like fitting into a mold and adjusting who I am to fit some other system. And I like to come into new markets with zero experience. I've had a payroll company, a recruiting agency, a digital marketing agency, a few websites that failed, a consulting firm, a sales firm. Now I have Everbowl. We have our own construction arm where we build our own stores. So I have a construction company. We source and import our own superfoods from around the globe. So we have our own import company as well as our own food manufacturer. And we just launched franchising, and we just launched a finance arm. So I get to dabble in all these new markets and all these new industries and really get to solve problems, which is what I like to do, and put teams together and build towards a vision. That's my passion. So, that's the industry, the startup entrepreneur side that I love. And then the fact that I get to do it with health and wellness and promote the unevolved lifestyle, it's kind of like my third child now. It's kind of like my dream come true. I have two daughters, and
I love it. I want to talk about uninvolved lifestyle in just a minute, but I want to ask you this question. You said this a second ago. How did that experience in that company where they said, we don't mold you, we don't change to you, you change to us? How did that experience at that moment of your life change how you deal with the people that work on your teams now?
Well, at the time, it didn't do I didn't do a lot because I was young and dumb. And so my first 5-6 years in my first two companies, I had a big ego as the founder. I felt like I had to be the guy who came up with every idea. I had to put my DNA and fingerprint on every decision because that's what I felt like I needed to do. And my inexperience as being the CEO and a founder showed itself. And, what happened was I started pushing a lot of great people out of the company. And I had this moment where I was like, why are all these people leaving? Like, shame on them. It's them. And I was looking in the mirror and I was like, wait, I'm the common denominator in this equation, right? So I had to point the finger back at myself and realize it was my ego that was pushing them out. And so, it was great because I had this experience that I had coupled with what had happened to me to realize that moving forward, I want to be the dumbest guy in the room. I want to surround myself with incredible people. Let them be brilliant at what they do, put them in a position to inject their DNA into the company, solve problems, create opportunity, and see their vision through. And I'm just here to make sure that I put all the pieces together and that vision is aligned towards our bigger vision, our end goal, right? We're sailing from Europe to America and we want to land at Plymouth. Okay, if that's what we're doing, how we get there, there's many routes, right? There's many routes to get there. And I need to have the faith, confidence, and trust in my team that they're going to help drive that. As long as their vision is to get to Plymouth as well and not Florida, we're okay.
So how did you process through that? I heard John Maxwell say probably 20 years ago, first time I met John, he said, he talked about delegating authority and not delegating tasks. We delegate, we don't dump, which has been one of the things I work with my one-on-one clients a lot on, about delegating authority. What did that process look like you and how did that kind of stretch that entrepreneurial leadership muscle for you in that process of being able to delegate? And the worst things for us as entrepreneurs, we don't like to take our hands off of nothing, right? we like to hold that. That's my baby. Like we like to hold and own that.
Well, for me, I realized that 2 + 2 became 8. And when all of a sudden that formula came to be in my head, I realized, wait, I'm really good at what I'm really good at, and I'm really bad at what I'm really bad at. And if I surround myself with people who are really good at what I'm really bad at, all of a sudden we're a badass team, right? I fill their gaps, they fill my gaps, and we become unstoppable. So I want best in breed. I want the best at everything that I'm not good at, and I'm going to be the best at what I'm good at. That's my commitment to my team. And so when we bring that rock star mentality, that dream team together, we become unstoppable. And that's how we've been able to do certain things that, the outside world looks to what we've accomplished both at this company and previous companies. And they say, how are you guys doing that? Well, it's because we're a collection of all stars that are all operating within our all-star capabilities, all for the same common goal. And, it's not the best players that win, it's the best team that wins. And we're the best team because we don't have a lot of redundancy. We don't hire just for likes. We don't have egos. We don't have insecurities, and we don't have sensitivities, right? Like, I don't care, as I tell everyone who joins my team, I'm going to step on your toes. You're going to step on my toes, and we're going to learn to dance. But once we're dancing, right? So that's the beauty. And so, I don't get offended. If you don't like my idea, you think I'm making a mistake, call me out. I'm okay with it, right? I have no problem having tough conversations and being told by anyone on the team that they disagree. If you got a better way, hell, let's go.
Dude, that's exactly right.
I don't care, right? I have no ego on who you can have all the credit. I don't need the credit. I don't need to even make the decision. All I want is the result. The end result is what we're trying to get. And so for me, it's about that. And once I had that light click, I truly was able to start putting together a collection of talent. And that's the beauty, because I'm good at startups. I'm good at forming companies and raising capital and dealing with shareholders and expanding the brand and building the brand and sales and marketing. Those areas are my strength. As far as the day-to-day operations people aren't necessarily good at that outward facing thing, and they want to be in a position to thrive and excel. And so I'm setting audacious goals for us that seem unobtainable. But the beauty there is we all push to achieve it, right? Because you never know how fast you can run unless you hit the wall. And I feel like too often we don't hit that wall. We don't push ourselves to see how far we can go because we're worried that we're going to find that wall and no one wants to feel that. I'm the opposite. I want to I want to run right into that thing.
Yep.
And then we know, hey, this is as far as we can go. So what do we do now? Do we bring in new people? Do we sell the company? Do we add new talent? Do we change our focus and our vision? Is there something else we can do to push that ceiling further, that wall further away? But at the end of this whole thing, and what I teach my kids and what I stress and is most important to me is when this is all done, whatever company I'm working on, whatever task I'm doing, I want to know that I maximized my potential and I did the best I could. And there's nothing left. There's no juice left in that lemon. We squeezed every drop out. And if we do that, hey, it is what it is, right? We couldn't do more. So we're happy. That's success.
Two questions, Jeff. Why don't you think more entrepreneurs are willing? I love what you said. You'll never know how fast you can run until you hit the wall. Why do you think entrepreneurs shy away from those moments?
Well, I think there's a few reasons. First, I think there's a lot of people who are entrepreneurs in title, but they're not entrepreneurially minded. And it's okay, right? Because right now we're in this time period in our industry as entrepreneurs and business owners where it's become sexy to be an entrepreneur, right? We've created this life that all of a sudden entrepreneurship is this thing. And I challenge everyone, like you don't have to be an entrepreneur to be an entrepreneur. And what I mean by that is if I start a company and I attract 10 people to join me and you're employee number 7 with me and you're not a founder, but you're on our team, you get all the perks of being an entrepreneur in your department. You get to build it from scratch. You're going to have autonomy. You're going to get to make all the decisions, but you don't have to do all the things you're not good at, right? So like when I started Everbowl, it's a restaurant chain. My dad said 9 out of 10 restaurants fail. Are you nuts? Mm-hmm. Right? My mom said, you don't know how to cook. And my wife said, all you do in the kitchen is eat and make a mess. All true.
There you go.
But 99 out of 100 restaurants are started by restaurateurs, by people who have been in the kitchen for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, all this experience, but they're not necessarily good at building a business, right? So they might struggle and fail. They might hit walls. They might hit obstacles that they're not equipped for because they just want to cook. That's their passion. That's what they're amazing at. They're amazing chefs, right? I'm not a chef. I'm a businessman. So for me, I build businesses and I bring the chef in. So if a chef and me partner, right, and I start a restaurant chain and I hire a chef, that chef gets all the flexibility of being that entrepreneur without all of the P&Ls and financing and headaches that they don't want to deal with, or that it's just not their sweet spot. So I think a lot of entrepreneurs, to go back to your question, don't want to find the wall because they feel like they're actually just they've created a job for themselves versus trying to do something different. And then the second reason I think is an insecurity, which is people are afraid that if they hit that wall, they're not going to get back up. Subconsciously, I think we're afraid to see how far we can go because there's a scariness to it, right? Like, oh my God, now I know that was a wall and I ran right into it.
Let me ask you a question, Jeff. Talk to me about, we just did our boot camp in Nashville, me, Coach Burt, Anthony Trucks, Carlos Reyes, Carlos was supposed to come. He got COVID a couple of days before and had to stay at home. But one of the things I talked about, the first session of boot camp, I talked about the mindset of relationship and the power of who's in your community, who's in your circle, and who's in your corner. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about the really the circle, that small group of guys you run with, and how influential it is to be able to help you do exactly what you just talked about.
Well, you just hit on the most passionate thing side of business that I'm about, which is relationship capital. And then so much so, I'm going to do a little plug. It's free, so don't worry. I'm not selling you guys anything.
You're good. You sell them whatever you want to, bro. I don't care.
But I have a course I did for LinkedIn Learning, hired me to be an author, and I did a course for them on relationship capital. If you hit me up on LinkedIn, I'll send it to you for free, so you don't have to buy it. And then I'm actually coming out with my very first book. It's coming out either we're going to decide if it's going to come out the last week of December or the second week of January. And it's about relationship capital, and it's about exactly what you just said. And I've been able to create immense success in my business and life by focusing on building, developing, and leveraging relationship capital. And that's everything. And it's the famous saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And it is never more true.
Yes.
Because I can immediately go from zero experience in something to being the best at it by who I know. I can go from having no opportunity to so much opportunity. I can't choose it all by who I know. I can get incredible talent by who I know. And so if you understand the power of relationship capital, and it's a question. So in my book, I interviewed a whole bunch of Carlos Reyes is one of the people who actually answered these three questions for me. And one of the questions is, would you rather have $1 million or know 1,000 people very well? And the premise there is, I'll take who I know over what I have every day. You can have $1 million and I'll take 1,000 good relationships, and I will make way more money than you. It's just the way it works. And it's not just about money. It's also about expertise. It's about skill. So the group that I have on my team, especially right now at Everbowl, they're opening doors for us that I couldn't open, right? They're doing things that I can't accomplish on my own. So surrounding yourself with your dream team, again, going back to that team concept, your network is your net worth.
Yeah,
that's right. That's
right.
Let
me say this, Josh. Josh, I called you Josh. Let me say this, okay. Jeff. This is what I love about too, what you're talking about. I'm super passionate about this. Super passionate is not only, some people look at this and they'll go, well, Jeff, you've got all these people and you're using them to be able to, get in this door, get in this door. But the reality of it is you're letting them operate at what they're good at and what they're gifted at. And then, dude, it's a win-win for everybody in the room. It's a win for you. It's a win for everybody on the team. Dude, there's so much fulfillment and synergy that comes from those type of moments. Talk to our audience about that.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, it's not using, right? Because it's an exchange of services, skills, or money. That's what everything is. So if you join me as an employee and I pay you a salary, you can go get a job anywhere. The difference with me is you get to be more of an entrepreneur, and I expect you to build your own department. I'm not going to say to you, this is how you do your job. If you want that, go work somewhere else. A bigger company will do that for you. Trust me, that's what I had at ADP. They told me, this is the way your job is going to be done. You're doing it this way. You don't have the autonomy to do it your way, even though I'm an artist in my own skill and you're an artist in your own skill. I want to give you a blank canvas and say, look, I'm not going to tell you to paint anything you want. I'm going to say, this is what I want painted however the hell you want, though, and make it the best version that you can do because we trust you. Number two, as far as building relationship capital and surrounding yourself with people, it's not using if you lead with value. And that's one of the things I teach in my course. And that's one of the chapters in my book is about leading with value. And the way you do it is you find things to do to add value and make deposits. And it's what I call your relationship bank account, which we have with every human being, whether it's a child, a mother, a friend, a cousin, a coworker, or a business partner, right? So like me and you, Ken, we have a relationship bank account. The more deposits I make by doing something for you, leading with value, solving problems for you, introducing you to people, being an ear when you need one, being available when you need somebody, or connecting or helping you elevate yourself, your career, or your life in some capacity, I make deposits into our bank account. That means that over the long run, I'm building wealth. I'm building relationship wealth together. In the end, I might need something. I might say, hey, Ken, you mentioned so-and-so that you're friends with, and I would love an introduction. Do you mind making an introduction? Now I'm making a withdrawal, right? It's the same thing as buying something at the grocery store. I'm exchanging some of our relationship capital to ask you to do me a favor. And I've built up enough deposits. I've built up enough relationship wealth to have earned the right to ask you and have the balance to pay for it, to where you're not going to be like, man, every time that guy Jeff calls me, he just asks me for a favor. That's having a negative balance.
Right.
That's becoming somebody that you're not going to answer the phone when I call anymore because I am just using you. So it's about give and take. It's finding ways that you can add value to someone. And for those listening who are like, well, Jeff, I don't have a business and I don't have all these things. How do I do that? Well, listen, when I was a teenager, I spent a lot of time learning instead of earning. And what I mean is I interned. I donated my time to people I wanted to be around because I wanted to build relationship capital with them subconsciously. I wanted to be in their circle. I wanted to be exposed to their network. I wanted to learn from them. And I had nothing of value to give them. And I didn't want to ask them to pay me because then I'm an employee and it's a different thing. If you get a paycheck, don't ask for more because that's what you bargain for, money. But when you do it for free, when you donate your time, your availability, and listen, I've done things like David Meltzer, one of my mentors for 30 plus years.
I love David.
Yeah, me and him are actually writing up our second book. Is actually being co-written.
When you said sports agent just a little while ago, so yes. David and Greg Reed, Greg Reed as well. Yeah, so
I went to law school because of Dave. I was going to go work with him at Lee Steinberg Sports Agency.
Yeah. I sent David and Greg before we did our first boot camp last week. I shot them both a text on Thursday. And just said, guys, I said, hey guys, I wouldn't be here without you. Thank you for helping us get where we're at today.
David and I call him Dave. Dave and I have known each other since I was 4 years old and he was in high school.
Wow.
And our moms are best friends. And so we're family. He's like my big brother. But I interned at 5 of his companies growing up while I was in middle school, high school, college, and even in law school. And I donated all my time to just be around him because he was around people I wanted to be around. He had knowledge in areas I wanted knowledge in. And I didn't ask him to pay me because if I did, that's a different relationship. And so that's how one of the ways you can start immediately building relationship capital is reach out to people you want to be around. If I called you, Ken, and said, listen, Ken, I want to be around you, man. I'm going to fly where you are. And all I'm going to do is come and donate my time. You want me to make photocopies? If people still do that, I'll make photocopies. You want me to open emails and respond? I'll do that. I'll book your next, your guests on your show. Whatever it is that I can do to be around you, Ken, because I want to be around you. You have skills that I want to learn. You have a network that I want to be exposed to, and you have knowledge that I want. So that's what I'm willing to give. Don't pay me money. Your knowledge is what I want. Your relationship capital is what I want. And people mistake money for that. They say, well, I worked for so-and-so for so many years and I didn't get anything. Well, because you got a paycheck. That's what you got.
Right.
It's a different relationship.
Hey,
if I pay someone money, I'm expecting a result. If someone donates their time, they're expecting a result.
Jeff, talk to me about that because that's intuitiveness. Talk to me about where that intuitiveness came from at such a young age for you to recognize that.
It's a great question. I think it's, again, that I always hung around people that were older than me and like Dave Meltzer. So like I said, I was interning with him when I was 13 and 14, and I was around him when he was in his mid-20s running big companies and startups and just being exposed to this back before social media. Like you got to remember, this is in the 90s and there was no internet at companies. Like we literally did everything by snail mail and paper. And so people's worlds were only as big as their communities. And so I got exposed to a bigger world early on. So that I think number one helped. Number two, it was that because there was no internet and I have a thirst for knowledge, I had no way to get my knowledge that thirst satisfied or satiated. So I was constantly looking out. And because the only access to information outside of people was the Encyclopedia Britannica collection on the wall, I didn't have many other options. So I started to make friends. And when I realized, my 2 core values, I have 5, but my 2 core values and the 2 rules we pride ourselves at Everbowl on is make friends and have fun. And those are my first 2 core values. When I realized by making friends and having fun, I was creating an abundance of opportunity for myself. I was learning and growing and elevating, and then seeing it in practice when I got my first job selling payroll and using my relationships to become the number 1 sales rep in the country overnight. And doing those things, I realized, oh my God, this is the cheat code. This is the thing that everyone's always wondering, what is the shortcut? Well, the shortcut is years of preparation, of building relationship capital. But when you have it, that's the cheat code, right? I don't have millions at the time. I didn't have millions of dollars in the bank, right? I'm 24 years old. So I don't have money. I'm in debt, but I have relationship capital. So what did I do? I went to Dave Meltzer and I said, Dave, I just got this job at ADP. And this is a true story. I went to Dave. I said, I just got hired as a sales rep at ADP. I have a favor to ask you. And now I called in some of my relationship capital. I started to use some of that money I built up in our relationship. And I said, do you mind making an introduction to some of your friends who are business owners? Because I need to sell them payroll. And I need them to be 50 employees or less. So he said, come to my house, which I did. And we spent an hour. I drafted an email for him that he would send out. And he sent it out to like 150 people, 200 people, 300 people. And I probably set, I don't know, 100 appointments from that. And I closed like 52 deals. And overnight, I made 6 figures in commissions and became the #1 sales rep in the country. And it was from Dave's list. And it wasn't just Dave, right? I had 3 other people like Dave who I did the same thing with, that I had interned and worked for them the same way. And that kind of mentality, that kind of relationship capital allowed me, because I already was innately good at sales. That was one of the things I did for Dave. While I was interning, I got exposed to his sales teams, and I realized that I like to talk a lot. So I was like, well, let me try. And I learned solution-based selling, right? And I got to watch the great sales reps in his companies do what they do, and Dave do his trainings. And I was just sitting there grabbing people water and coffee and being a complete, helping hand. But as a result of that, I got to grow and elevate my skills, my knowledge, and my relationships. And then I saw it in practice. And so intuitively, I wouldn't know if it was, I think intuitively I was curious. And without internet, the problem today for a lot of people is they can just go to Google and learn these things. So they don't understand the value of donating your time and connecting on a human level with the people you want, right? Like, I know, obviously you're involved with Grant Cardone, and everybody wants to know Grant Cardone, right? So Grant gets 1 billion hit ups a week from people who just want to reach out to him and know Grant Cardone. But what they fail to realize is he's a human being, right? I could cold call Grant on Instagram and he's going to ignore me or send me to an automated thing, or I'll get some bullshit response. But if I really want to know Grant, I need to meet him personally. I need to add value to him in some capacity, or be a person that is remembered by him. And then at that point, I now can start to build a relationship with him. That's what it takes. And then I can call on Grant and say, hey, Grant, can you open some doors for me? But I can't do that today, right? And too many people just try it. You see it on LinkedIn. Like I'm big on LinkedIn because, as I mentioned, I have a couple courses. And I get hit up all the time. Hey, Jeff, I own this company, yada, yada, yada. I think it'd be great for your service. Do you mind me? And I'm like, this isn't the first message you sent me. Is literally we call that a commercial.
Right.
Before
let me send you my relational book real quick so you understand exactly where you need to be.
Right. No, and it was like, that was before, that was like a commercial. So I tune it off, and it's like, don't be a commercial, right? Lead with value. Be more interested in me than interesting about you, and pick my brain or ask me, just like I want to do the same for you.
Dude, I swear you've been listening to every podcast I've ever done, everything I've ever taught, because I'm listening to you. And I'll tell you what your boy Josh York did to me. The first time I had Josh on Instagram Live, it's probably been 5-6 months ago, and Josh and I quickly became really good friends. He sends me a DM message, and he's like, bro, you better bring some passion today. You better have some energy today. I was like, who the hell is this guy? Like, I picked my phone up and I'm talking. I'm like, bro, I haven't even met you yet. Like, who is this guy, right? So anyway, so Josh and I, you two, dude, I could talk to you all day long. I know you've got plans this afternoon. Dude, we've got to connect. I need to get you. We're actually going to be doing a boot camp again in Nashville, the 29th and 30th of January. And then I've been talking to Carlos Anthony Trucks. I don't know if you know Anthony or not.
I don't, but obviously I know Carlos well.
Yeah. Anthony's phenomenal.
I'd love to meet him.
Yeah, dude, we're going to be doing something on the West Coast soon. As a matter of fact, when Dave saw our boot camp, he had his guy email Stacy, my executive assistant. Hey, tell Ken if he does a boot camp on the West Coast, I'd like to be involved.
Yeah, so, me too.
So dude, we definitely need to get together and do that. Jeff, what's the best way for people to connect with you? And we need to do this again. I want to hear about Unevolve. I want to hear your story on that, more about your book. One of the things we talk a lot about is crushing limited beliefs. And one of those is comparison. How we do that is collaboration. And so, dude, I'm huge on giving. I want you to win. I want our audience to be connected with you, because when they win because you win, I win. It's the Zig Ziglar. If I help enough people get what they want, eventually I'm going to get what I want, bro. You know it.
Absolutely.
Best way to connect with you, Jeff.
So obviously Instagram at Fenster Jeff, LinkedIn, just hit me up. Please don't send me a commercial, but just say hi. And if you want my course for free, I'll send it to you. I have a couple, but I recommend the relationship one. Email connect@jefffenster.com or jeff@everbull.com, or you can text me 858-472-3119. Don't call because I don't answer random numbers. Text. But yeah, I'd love to connect with anyone in your audience. I'm all about it. Same thing, building up the entire community of business minds who are trying to grow and develop. And, same thing. I share your passion. I've been spending a lot of time speaking lately on stages and more virtual these days, unfortunately, because of COVID.
Right.
But my favorite thing to do is to help inspire people to be their best version of themselves. And at this point in my life, that's what I'm trying to do. So any way I can help, I'm of service. And obviously, Ken, if you ever need someone at any of those boot camps, I would love to come.
Love it, dude. Love it. Where you? Are you in Orange County?
I'm in San Diego, but
San Diego. Okay, so right by Dave.
Southwest flies everywhere.
Right by Dave and my guy Greg Reed. And you said this earlier, and I know you got to run. When I first met Greg, I had him on Instagram Live, then had him on my podcast and on a virtual summit. We got connected off air. He's like, dude, come hang out. 10 days later, I'm sitting in Carlsbad in Greg's living room for 2 hours. Just
5 minutes from Greg.
Yeah, dude.
I live right by Carlsbad.
Yeah. So, dude, yes, definitely. And I travel a ton. So, dude, we definitely got to get connected. I love your passion, your energy. And, dude, it freaking stokes me when I hear guys talk at the high level of relational IQ that you do. Absolutely fires me. Makes me want to quit and come work with you. Well, dude, listen.
Thank you so much, man. And I look forward to hanging with you. This was obviously our first real chance to meet, but I'm more on building relationships than anything else. So would love to. If you're ever in Southern California, please obviously hit me up, but let's stay connected, Ken. And I look forward to doing big things with you in 2021, man, and keep crushing because I love what you're doing.
Yes. I love your heart, love your passion, my friend. Hey guys, thanks for joining us on the Grow Stack Drive podcast. And Jeff Fenster, follow him, Fenster Jeff, at Fenster Jeff on Instagram. Obviously go to LinkedIn. He's got a couple courses, relational IQ courses, which is the most important thing. People ask me all the time. Yes, I do get time with Grant and Jared and the guys, being Grant's top licensee, but dude, relationship is the number one thing that opens doors for you, hands down. Jeff, thanks for your time today, my friend.
Thank you. It was